We are continuing in a true and faithful relation of what passed for many years between Dr. John Dee and some spirits, 1659, Meric Casaubon. And we'll get to translation after, well, I guess in the middle here. Note, it is evident hereby that this Pucci is very leprous, both in this heresy, what other he is infected with, God he knoweth, and also the infidelity proved. There's a lot of smudging with the print. On Thursday, the 17th of July, Frate Pucci entied his voyage toward Prague with my letter to the Nuncius Apostolicus, and with letters to John Carpio, from Edward Kelly, with my letters enclosed to the Lord Rosenberg, and we entered our journey toward Cassel, but that night we rode only 3 miles to Gotha. Our horses were so ill that we hired, and therefore sending them back again the next day, we hired a coach, and so on. Postscriptum, remember that Frater Pucci, the morning before his going, required of me our letters testimonial to our friends of his fidelity towards us. What needeth that, said I, for as much as your deeds were as well known to them as to us, your own conscience to your own self may serve abundantly, but our friends diverse, who have warned us of you, and have marveled why we would suffer you any longer in our house and company, would neither credit our letters as yet in this case, and would also condemn us of light judgment, our great blindness to judge the cause between you and us. But truly I observed in him now a more proud presuming over us than hitherto before, when he was before rebuked, for overcrowning us so as he began to do. And the margin resumptio 1, now he said he had as great authority as we to publish any of our secrets at his discretion. 2, that he ought to eat bread with us. 3, that he understood our books of actions better than we. 4, that he needed not our consent, our counsel, to deal with the Pope, his Nuncius. He did it by his duty general of charity, and so on. 5, he offered to order the Nuncius and the Emperor to the reclaiming of the decree made against us, and so on. And, you can definitely keep your terms with people, and your trust and stuff. You don't have to, I know about their religion better than me, and than they do, and vide scriptum elias de nostro intere romano, etc., an ID in the side margin there. So note, consider, what this may import, that the decree touching him, being one of my household company, and of them that then did appertain to me, and whose name he is not afraid in one way and another way not to be abashed to, thrust himself into the whole body of our revelations as a principal fellow, our receiver of them. By the first, he ought to be afraid of the danger of the decree which banished us, unless he is assured of their good will, who have showed themselves our mortal enemies, or else some other cause emboldened him to some other purpose, and so on. By the second, he might be afraid of so great presumption, being but a probationer, not yet allowed of, and to us known to be cut off. All these points I cannot decipher and judge, but refer them to the profound wisdom and high providence of God, wherefore, and how far he hath admitted him to be privy of our actions, and so a witness to some purposes sufficient. All things be to the honor and glory of God. Amen. Well, Mr. Pucci didn't have the experience, so in that sense, he didn't know. But Catholic Church was never known for its tolerance, not even from the beginning. So, of course, they're doing all this stuff in the name of the Trinity, and, you know, all this opening praise and stuff that people very commonly do. Some of the final stuff that we saw in the margin, the youth, the presumption, that's to say, I've not known man before came together. She was found to be pregnant of the Holy Spirit. Well, can't the Annunciation come and then she gets pregnant the regular way? That's also quite a bit of interpretation, right? Shall conceive and the virgin shall give birth. And if you look at an Aramea and you look at the I don't know what Sodikim. What's the plural of Sodic? The Sodics. Anyways, they're they did have ideals of holding off when you first get married, and you can live together, but which you can't do without being married, and but yeah, they would try to delay the consumption of the marriage, and that was the issue. Have written what he wrote, and okay, with the rest, their point is their passion in what they're doing, and that it's transformative, both the Enochian stuff that came and the other stuff that came, and their process of being good Christians, or however you're going to phrase that. People use that phrase derisively, it sounds almost, or they make it about something that's not really whatever. 40 years spent in the investigation, and which I'll not be able to describe. So a lot of stuff can't be quite described, but there's been attempts against them and their life, and people composing dude composing a booklet against them, which was not cool. Well, Meric Casaubon in his preface kind of did that too. But them being banished, that was not cool. It was better than being killed, I guess. But because it's not exactly safe traveling to and fro, particularly with your family. But they were warned about this, but they were willing to go to the effort there. But they did this, not against the Bohemian public, not against the academies of the Christian world, but they did this for them. And of course, one of the missions of John Dee and his scryers is sort of a unification of the world, sort of a one world religion, but of course one world religion of some sort of Christianity. And they obey the sacredness of the Catholic Church. They have respect for the for the Pope, and their intention is to serve the Pope, and they want you to believe in their divine protection, the invisible angels that they saw visibly. And through that experience, they are definitely willing to undertake what they have undertaken.